Khalil Mack should not be talking. He really shouldn't be. Because Derrick Henry has been one of the best running backs in the league. We've argued this over the last 3-4 weeks. Who's the best running back in the league? Who's one of the best? Who's offensive player of the year? And the argument really goes to running backs. I mean, Jamar Chase has been fantastic, and the wide receiving position is a prima donna position. But Derrick Henry, who came from another organization, who signed on to play for Baltimore, a Baltimore Raven team that's had a legitimate good running backs year in and year out for many, many years. Look at J.K. Dobbins before he got hurt last night. He's had a sensational year coming back from the injuries he's come back from. Derrick Henry is having one of his best statistical seasons of his career. This is a guy that came from Alabama. This is a guy that won a Heisman. Yes, a Heisman Trophy as a running back. And what he has done since he's come to the NFL has just been an absolute dominant tank. He's run over people and has been, and you know what Derrick Henry is going to do. He's going to run up the gut. He is not one of those guys like Saquon Barkley or Christian McCaffrey that can catch the ball in the backfield and do those things on the outside. He is a powered back. He's going to run you over and beat you inside. And that's what he's done strategically for over 7 years in the NFL. He has been unbelievable. And really, if you look at what Derrick Henry's done in his career, he usually starts slow and ends strong. Well, this year, he starts strong, and he's right now, even though over the last 2 weeks, besides last night, it's been up and down, but the last 2 weeks, but this guy has been consistent all season long. Now, Baltimore's offensive line is one of the best in the league. They've been sensational all season long with the depth that they've provided for Lamar Jackson. But nevertheless, Derrick Henry is having one of his best statistical years. You can argue he is the offensive player of the year, but I think it's different now what Saquon Barkley did over the weekend as well, having 300 all-scrimmage yards and been dominant as a running back slash wide receiver, whatever you want to call him. He has been a dual threat. Both of these guys have been so fun to watch. And when we seen Christian McCaffrey go down in the preseason, didn't have a whole season. This is a guy that was offensive player of the year last year and miss 9 games this year and then come back and he's still not 100%. The running back is at a premium. And you see, if you have a dominant running back, it changes everything. You heard it from Trevor Price. If you have a good defense and you have a running game, you can win a Super Bowl. You don't necessarily need a star quarterback to win. That is the necessity to win. Rex Ryan knows that. Pete Carroll knows that. And that's why success has happened with these defensive coordinators over the years. It's all about power game football. The fact that Khalil Mack has come out and taken shots at Derrick Henry, shame on him. I don't know what the attacks are to Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry is one of the more likable players in the NFL. He is not Adrian Peterson. Now, I'm not saying Adrian Peterson wasn't liked, but Adrian Peterson did a lot of interesting things as an NFL player. I'm not going to bring it on live radio. I think everybody knows what Adrian Peterson did and the comments that Adrian Peterson made in the past as an NFL football player. Has anybody heard Derrick Henry go out there and say that he's the best? Have we ever heard Derrick Henry ever take shots at any players on his own team? On Tennessee, when Tennessee was falling apart last year the way they did, firing their coach, the quarterback situation. Did you ever hear him take shots at Ryan Tannehill when Tannehill was there? Never. You never heard Derrick Henry
speak louder than words. Actions speak louder than words. He doesn't have to say anything. They speak louder than words.
Yes, but again, I understand actions speak louder than words. But again, going back to Derrick Henry, why is Khalil Mack taking shots at a guy that's very well respected, very loved in the NFL? I've never heard an NFL player ever say anything bad about Derrick Henry. As a matter of fact, if you were to ask, I would say a defensive lineman who is one of the hardest players to tackle in the NFL, I would say 9 out of 10 of them would tell you Derrick Henry is in their top 3 when it comes to running backs.
Right. And that's say actions speak louder than words because he doesn't have to talk. He goes and does it about like, hey, come stop me. Like, this is the way it's going to be. And he's done that his entire career. And for the fact that Khalil Mack to come out and even talk and like, I hope we get them again. Yeah, he hope he gets you again because he's just going to run your face over. That's what he's going to do. And that's what he's done. And he's proven that. That's why I say actions speak louder than words.
I do think Derrick Henry cares what Khalil Mack says. Khalil Mack is only on the Chargers.
We all see it, but we all see it. We all see it. Like Speedy just said, bulletin board. Don't give me that. Don't give me that to even more shove it up your ass. Don't give me that. Let sleeping dogs lie, right? Don't give me that. And now you're giving him even more incentive to shove it up, you know what? And he's going to do it.
I will say this, James Jones coming out and saying that the Chargers don't have enough to be legitimate Super Bowl contenders. How does he know? I mean, no offense to James Jones. Okay. He was on the Green Bay Packers. He's had great quarterbacks in the time that he was there. I don't know. He had Brett Favre and he had Aaron Rodgers. And by the way, how many championships did James Jones win? I mean, seriously, bringing up legitimate contenders. Now I'm not saying the Chargers are a contender, but who's to say that they're not? If right. J.K. Dobbins, how bad is J.K. Dobbins' injury? Is he out for the season? Yet. Okay, so if he actually is not out for the season, he comes back. J.K. Dobbins is a good weapon. He's a nice weapon to have. They have enough to make a run. They have a great offensive line. They have a sensational quarterback in Justin Herbert. And they have a good pedigree when it comes to coach. I mean, Jim Harbaugh, say whatever you want from what he is and what he's all about. This guy wins everywhere he goes. He won a national championship over there in Michigan. He's won over there with San Francisco. He went to the Super Bowl, only lost to his brother in the Super Bowl from one play with Colin Kaepernick as his quarterback. I mean, seriously, honest to God, who's to say that the Chargers can't make a run? If the Chargers sneak into the playoffs, they can beat anybody. So I don't know why James Jones is speaking. And as far as LaShawn McCoy, again, another guy, what has he ever won? LaShawn McCoy, I love you, LaShawn. You played for the Eagles. You were drafted by Andy Reid, okay? I love his personality. I love what he stands for. For him to come out and take shots and say that they only beat weak teams.
He's just trying to be relevant. That's what he's doing. He's just trying to be relevant now.
They almost beat the Chiefs. They almost beat the Chiefs. How bad did the Chiefs beat them? Not by much. I mean, that game was as close as any game the Chiefs has had all season long. To say that they're not good and they've only beaten bad teams. Yeah, I mean, on paper they look bad. And like you heard from Trevor Price, it's so close. Every single team are so close with talent. It doesn't matter who you beat. You beat who's on your schedule. To say that, and what is their record right now? They're 7-5, 7-4. I mean, 7-4 is a pretty good record playing in a division with the Kansas City Chiefs. Okay, to say they're now not relevant at all is ridiculous. Okay, I just think this is going and attacking the situation from Khalil Mack. It's not the team. The Chargers aren't saying these things about Derrick Henry. It was Khalil Mack. And Khalil Mack is going to have to speak up when you do meet them in the playoffs, or if you meet him in the playoffs, and it's because of Derrick Henry, like you were saying, Jabba, he's the reason why you lose against the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens are not a good defensive team, not even close. I mean, this team was structured to be one of the elite defenses in the league. Well, this year, they're just not. They're not an elite defense. I drafted them in one of my leagues. They have been absolutely putrid for me, and that's why I dropped them. This is not what for years. This team has been a top 5 defense from top to bottom. I mean, look at the secondary talent that they have. Well, they're just not that kind of team this year. Even some of the acquisitions they made in the offseason, you would have thought they would be better. They did lose Queen. He went to Pittsburgh, but nevertheless, this is supposed to be a really good all-around defensive team. They're just not. This is an all-offensive team, and that has a lot to do with Derrick Henry.